I am a morning person, and I'm super excited to get going today. So good morning and welcome to the Pharmacy Society of Wisconsin 2017 Educational Conference. My name is Michelle Farrell, and I am the president of PSW. Before I introduce this morning's speaker, I would like to take a little time to provide a formal welcome to the over 400 attendees we'll have at the conference and provide you with a few announcements that will help you make the most of your time here. First, I'd like to mention that PSW is once again providing conference information through the PSW app. This app has become a PSW conference must-have for all attendees. It will serve as your personal assistant at PSW conferences. And right now, I will not be offended if you pull out the app and check in, download it, and check it out. You've got access to speaker information, the schedule, poster abstracts, and more. Best of all, you've got access to all of this when you get back home to your practice sites for quick reference. New for this conference, we're running a competition to recognize the most active user of the app. PSW staff is not eligible. However, I have a challenge for you all. I'm going to challenge you to get the most selfies with a PSW staff member or a board member. So game on, let's get active in that app and have some fun with that. Instructions for the competitions are at the registration desk. They might not include what I just announced, but we'll deal with it. If you'd like assistance in maximizing your use of the app, the PSW staff is happy to help you, or certainly your colleagues are willing. Today, we have a number of pharmacy technicians joining us from across the state for today's conference. Would the pharmacy technicians please stand? Thanks for being here. Technicians will have an opportunity to attend a special networking session and programming just for technicians today. In addition to tech-friendly programs throughout the afternoon, tomorrow's programming will feature some of the work that the PSW Practice Advancement Leadership Team has done to discuss the ever-expanding role of pharmacy technician in Wisconsin and nationally. There will also be many student attendees joining us throughout the conference as their schedules allow. Their attendance at this conference is made possible by the generous donations of our conference student sponsors. Many of you have made contributions and donations to the Wisconsin Pharmacy Foundation to support student attendance, and we thank you. Now let's switch gears and launch into our morning programming. As many of you, and I'm going to get a little sentimental here, it was exactly a year ago that Chris was 1 week out of surgery and came to address the general session crowd. Now, this is especially near and dear to me because it was November of 2015 that I was diagnosed with breast cancer and embarked on my own health journey. So just as I was becoming a leader of this organization, trying to figure out how I was going to deal with my personal life and own a business, I was watching someone near and dear to me deal with a similar diagnosis. And at that point, I think realizing a health journey like cancer helped me in that I learned that life is a journey. Life is truly a journey. We need to embrace change and look forward to it. We need to work at getting stronger and better every single day. And maybe most importantly, and what I'm going to challenge you guys to do at the conference, is to find the joy and find the fun in every day, because that you'll carry along with you for a long time. So with that, I'm very thankful that I've had this co-survivor with me along my journey. I'd like to invite PSW CEO Chris Decker to the podium to provide a short address.
Thanks, Michelle, and I'd like to introduce Megan Grant, sitting right here. Megan's on our staff, and Megan does everything that makes PSW look good. That's Megan's stuff. So that includes all of our slides, all of our graphics, anything that's got appeal to it. That's sort of the non-pharmacy stuff, the stuff that looks good, is due to Megan's good work. So all of my slides, this presentation is thanks and due to Megan. So she's going to help me navigate through that. So let's bring up the first slide. So this, as Michelle said, this is my chance as a repeat visit. So I had a chance to stand here a year ago in April, and we were just finishing March Madness at that time as well. So it is April, but March Madness still lingers on. It's a fun time of the year for sports fans. I want to tell you a couple stories, a little bit about March Madness and a little bit about me, some of what Michelle referenced. I don't know if you've heard this story, but in one of the biggest upsets of college basketball ever, little Itty Bitty and Mississippi State beat perennial powerhouse Connecticut last month, ending UConn's NCAA title bid and snapping their 111-game winning streak. Think about that, 111 games in a row that UConn won. Americans like rooting for the underdog. We all do. There are many feel-good stories of a David beating a Goliath. Perhaps the greatest in modern times was the 1980 USA men's Olympic hockey team when they defeated the Russians. The movie that became known as, in the U.S., as Miracle on Ice. Sport lends itself from time to time to the small defeating the mighty. And that's largely because of human heart and the will to win. Hollywood has made a lot of these stories too. Hoosiers and Rudy are two movies that you've probably heard of and maybe have seen. If you haven't, take the time to watch them. One is about an Indiana basketball team that was too small to win, and the other is about a wannabe football player that was too slow and too small to make his dream team, his dream football team, the Notre Dame football team. But both Rudy and Hoosiers proved their doubters wrong. But I'd like to start by drawing your attention to a more recent example, the story of Itty Bitty, the 5', 5" girl with a floating jump shot and $1 million smile. Known to her name is Morgan William, but known to her teammates as Itty Bitty. Itty Bitty made the game-winning shot in overtime after having virtually the same shot blocked by UConn at the end of regulation. Put simply, UConn doesn't get beat for not Itty Bitty. They hadn't lost a game in 4 years, winning 111 consecutive games, as I mentioned, and 3 national titles. They were invincible, almost invincible, until Itty Bitty. So watch this.
William on the drive. Pull up top.
Mississippi State was a valiant and enthused winner. It was deserved. But look and listen to losing coach Gino Auriemma for a second lesson. That losing is not only okay, but that failing, is commonplace in life. Did you see his wry smile at the end of the video? Right when Itty Bitty hit the winning shot, he knew that it was meant to be, or that it might happen, even to UConn. So listen to Gino.
If you lost to a good team in a hard-fought game in the tournament, you'd be okay with it. How's this loss sitting with you?
Obviously I'm disappointed. When you get this far and you get this close, it's always disappointing. And I'm disappointed for the players because this has been a long season for them, and they've done so many incredible things, and they wanted to end it, with a national championship. But if you put everything in perspective, what's happened from day one to today, I've been in this game where we've lost this game, and it was about as bad as you can possibly feel. This one doesn't feel like that.
The win streak, all the wins during the non-conference.
So the losing coach went on to tell his players and the national television audience that loss happens. He said it happens to all of us. Sometimes it happens when we least expect it. He then emphasized what was most important was what happened next, how his girls and the team handled that loss. This is the team that essentially never lost. How his girls moved forward was what was mattered most to him. Gino is shifting from coach to teacher. Struggling and loss is part of life. Overcoming the difficulty of loss, stepping over it, was necessary for life to carry on and to rebuild. Coach Ariyama challenged them to rise to that challenge, just as they had risen to the challenge to win over 100 games in a row. But Gino also reminded them to appreciate all that they had accomplished and those who helped them along the way, to recognize the significance of the accomplishment and the time spent together, despite the loss, to recognize it was not for naught, to recognize that it was for something, to recognize that it was an experience that they will have forever and be able to draw upon. It's an experience that they can put in a safe place and draw on its positives and its lessons forever. So Itty Bitty taught us lesson number 1. Don't shrink from challenge or opportunity, no matter how daunting it may seem. Gino Ariyama showed us lesson number 2, accepting loss and failure with grace and fortitude to carry on like a champion, because that's life. And then Gino also explained lesson number 3, to appreciate what we've experienced with whom we've experienced it. Recognizing in life we don't go it alone, and we benefit from others when we together dare greatly to be great. When we choose to be better than someone else, we can carry on as good, we can be better than we can be as ourselves. The lesson to strive to be better together requires risk and vulnerability, but it has potential to provide unprecedented return. Now let me shift. I've been PSW CEO for 25 plus years. Megan has a picture of me when I started in 1990. I was my own version of Itty Bitty. I was young and green, and I had big glasses. Quite the handsome fella, right? I've had the privilege of being of some 50 plus of these PSW conferences over that 25 years. I don't usually speak at them. My approach has been to support the persons that do present, to help in the preparation and execution of these events, along with the other PSW staff. It's been an important and rewarding role. That changed a little bit a year ago when I spoke at this conference a little unexpectedly. And some of you know that story, and Michelle touched on it. On March 21st, a year ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor while attending a meeting in Chicago. On March 30th, so just 9 days later, I had successful brain surgery at UW Hospital here in Madison. And then, remarkably, on April 6th, I was speaking at this conference, almost 1 year ago, exactly to the day. It was a super crazy and scary 2 weeks for all of us, probably more so for the people that cared about me than it even was for me, because I was mostly out of it. Since then, I've been fortunate in many ways, and I want to just mention them. I've had great medical help here at the UW Health, the health system. I've had unbelievable support from family and friends, coworkers, PSW's organizational leaders, and pharmacy friends from across the United States. It's said a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I'll show a few and try to save you a few extra 1,000 words. So here's the first picture of me after surgery. This is right after surgery, and I thought at the time, sort of what I understood, I didn't really know what I was in for, actually. I thought I'd probably be in mothballs for 6 months. But right after surgery, I was awake, alert, and eating ice cream bars. And then this is what the other side of me looked like. So I was able to smile thanks to the good work of the Lord and the medical staff at UW Hospital. I was able to smile. I was able to think, and I was able to talk. But I had this scar on the back of my head that sort of was the reminder of what had actually happened. But I was able to talk. And so I did. I spoke here at this conference last year, just 8 or 9 days after having brain surgery. It was crazy. This is a picture of me with some of our members that joined me here at this conference. I felt it was important to speak at the conference a year ago because I could. That's why I did. I wanted to provide a bit of reassurance that both I and PSW were going to be okay, at least for the time being. We were going to be able to work together to assure a stable base and a future plan. My message then was essentially this: I'm here. I'm grateful to be both alive and present, and I want to be regular, and I want to make a difference. I've tried to do that over the past year in my own itty-bitty way, and I intend to continue doing that, striving to be regular, striving to make a difference in the world and in the lives of others. Just as Gino Oriyama told his UConn players after the setback, loss and difficulty are normal parts of life. It's what a person does next that really matters. So that's what I'm trying to do after this health setback, and that's what I'm asking everyone around me to do too. I've promised to fight. I've promised to fight with all my might, to live and to make a difference, and I will. I'll do that to enable sparkle and brightness to occur. That's my deal, and it's really important to me. To find bright spots and to make differences in our world by striving to make itty-bitty differences each day and to be our best selves. I've also learned that while itty-bitty steps may be taken by individuals, big things happen because lots of people working together, supporting one another, sacrificing for one another, and for something bigger. I learned that sometimes we can make our own sunshine. Sometimes we have to make our own sunshine. I love sunshine. I love real sunshine. But sometimes days are cloudy, and we either need to manufacture our own sunshine or accept it from others. I learned about happy socks this year. I got multiple pairs as gifts. My sister started the craze, and it caught on. It's been fun. You can't help but smile when you put on crazy-looking socks in the morning. It's like making sunshine. It's a way to help create bright spots, starting with your feet. So those are some of my recent realizations and resolutions about life and living. I suspect I'll have more in the coming year. I hope I do. I also hope to provide an updated perspective 1 year from now at next year's educational conference, and I hope you will have interest in attending and engaging with me and all of us then. The odds makers aren't with me, but I want you to know that I know that you all are. I'll take you and our chances together. So my reason for speaking today is to stand up and be seen, and to try to tell it like it is, to hopefully show a good example. I'm definitely an underdog in my fight with glioblastoma. I'm itty-bitty, and GBM is my Goliath. GBM usually wins these fights, but I'm not going to shrink from it. I've promised to fight my hardest, and I will. Until then, let's all fight to be our best. Let's find our sparkle, and let's let others see it. Let's make our own sunshine when we need some, even if it's dark and gloomy outside. Doing these things together will enable us to collectively do our best for us to treat others the way they would like to be treated. That's a slight variant from the golden rule, but it works better, I think. Think about it. Not just how we want to be treated that matters, it's how others want to be treated within the context of how we want to be treated. Or when we find or create bright spots, it's important we take note. When we do find those bright spots, that we recognize that we're doing that. Research shows savoring good moments creates improvement in our resilience, our sleep quality, and our moods. I read good advice that said we should reflect on three positive things, 3 bright spots every day. And it's good to do it just before bed. So at the end of the day, when I reflect back on my 3 bright spots, I'll be thankful for the sun shining. It was shining this morning. For being here with all of you today, and for hopefully having another day tomorrow to repeat the sequence. To think about the things and the people which provide us sparkle, to give thanks for them, and to prepare to find sunshine the following day, even if it's by putting on a pair of happy socks. I invite you to join me in purposefully striving to make an itty-bitty difference in the lives of others, and thereby collectively making a big difference in the world, enabling sparkle and sunshine all around. So together we can make sunshine, and together we can make a difference. Let's do both. This last photo I like a lot. It's recent. You can see me with my patches. By the way, this is what I'm wearing on my head, and you'll see in this picture as a new treatment. It's made by a company called NovoCure, and I'm the first person. This was sort of a claim to fame. I'm the first person in the United States to use this version 2.0 of this treatment. But I like this picture. I was standing in front of the Martin Luther King Memorial last month, and I like it because of the quote from Martin Luther King. I think it can be applied to our everyday challenges. We all have challenges. Everyone has something. It's important to remember that too. If we do, it helps us have greater awareness and compassion for our fellow man. It also can give us a boost to not have self-doubt or pity for ourselves or for others, but instead to have courage, compassion, and fortitude. Those are virtues that are common to all of us. So let's make sunshine, let's try hard to sparkle, and let's strive to make a difference. We can do each of these things. But wait, I fibbed. I have one more slide. I received this picture from my sister this morning on my way here, and Megan made a slide out of it for me. It's a quote, and I thought it deserved the addition to my talk. I liked it, and I hope you do too. Can you read it? It says, "Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. It's how we make others think and feel that matters most." I hope you all feel great today. I know you're ready to make a difference, and I am too. So let's get on with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Next up, wasn't that wonderful? I mean, I told him not to make me cry, so I'm just trying to gather some thoughts. Next up, we've got Joe Sweeney, who I met in